Hi, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Wonder Snatch. Today we're doing another video in my dermatology in drag series and I'm going to do vitiligo today. And to do vitiligo, I'm going to do a hungry inspired Winnie Harlow look. Okay, so don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and ring that bell for post notifications. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, brows are blocked, face tapes are on. I'm going to do my foundation now. It's going to be a bit more of a darker tone today so that there's more contrast for the whites of the vitiligo. I've got some Elegal Pro Coverage and Soft Honey mixed with my Derma Blend in Camel 39 and my Juvia's Place, which is very, very high coverage in Marisol. So I've got this sandy color. Okay, so what is vitiligo? So Winnie Harlow is a very famous supermodel who has vitiligo. Vitiligo is basically when your skin loses its pigments. Remember your melanocytes from my freckles video? Vitiligo is when there's an autoimmune attack on your melanocytes. It is related to other autoimmune conditions such as alopecia areata, which is an autoimmune attack on your hair, and probably scleroderma as well, which you remember my video on scleroderma. So when there's an autoimmune attack on your melanocytes, the melanocytes just disappear from your skin. So you get these white patches of no pigment. So Michael Jackson, because he wanted to hide his vitiligo, one of the treatments of vitiligo is actually to, bleach the rest of your skin. So that's what he did and that's why he looked progressively whiter and whiter throughout his career. I'm going to do most of this in creams today, so I'm going to contour now with my Guinea, Juvia's Place Guinea. Conceal a little bit with Tarte Shape Tape. This is like a couple of shades darker than I usually do so that I can go in with the whites. Okay, let's pop these face tapes on first. And then we're going to sketch in the highlights. Face tapes are on. I'm going to start mapping out the white bits of the face now with some Marron White. So Hungry is a really amazing makeup artist from Germany and she's half Thai. And she's got this really distinct style that every single look on her Instagram is completely different, okay, but once you look at it, you know it's her. Okay, and she does this very, very graphic white patterns on her face. So that's what I'm going to try to emulate today. I might not even do brows today, just a hint of a brow. And let's see, I've got a reference image here, and this look I really want to emulate. So it looks like she's got vitiligo in this look here. The underwing first, like this ripple down. So in vitiligo, the white patches on your body and face usually have a very well demarcated ring. Okay, so that's how sometimes you can tell from other conditions that give you white spots. So there's this very, very well demarcated, very distinct borders. Okay, compared to other conditions such as, for example, pityriasis alba. These are white patches that kids sometimes get in their face, and this is very diffuse. Okay, it's more of a hypopigmentation. That means there's less pigment rather than a depigmentation, so no pigment at all. I guess the real trick here is to try to get it really symmetrical, which vitiligo is. Okay, one form of vitiligo called vitiligo vulgaris is actually quite symmetrical on the body. So usually, sometimes patients get exactly the same patterns on both sides. Okay, on the hands and the face. It's very, very interesting why that happens. The melanocytes, the cells that make your pigment, they find their way into the skin while you're developing in the fetus. Okay, and they actually migrate to the skin from your spinal cord. Isn't that strange? Okay, and so when they migrate, they can accumulate mutations along the way. So that's why sometimes you get patches that have the same mutations on the exact same side of the body. It's a bit of a difficult concept, but that's why. And it's called mosaicism. So some melanocytes are producing some proteins and some are producing others, and some are more susceptible to autoimmune attack. In the corner as well. Trying to draw this really symmetrical Rorschach-like patterns on my face. So other conditions where your skin might lose pigment, okay, that you have to make sure when someone has vitiligo are things like albinism. People with albinism don't have pigment from birth, okay? So Vitiligo is an acquired thing, so you lose your pigment during the course of your life. Sometimes people might lose pigment from chemicals or from exposure to occupational chemicals, so that's something that you need to ask also when someone presents with vitiligo. After doing so much makeup, the control of my brushes improved dramatically. Very happy with that. You can actually draw these things now on my face with some control. Don't speak too soon. Some forms of fungal infections can cause your skin to lose pigment as well, okay, especially this thing called tinea versicolor. Fungal infection sometimes leaves these white spots in your body, so treatment for that is very different, so this antifungals will clear that right up. And of course, scleroderma, which I mentioned before, sometimes people get these white patches on the body, and that's a sign of scleroderma and not vitiligo. And there are some forms of skin cancer which also turns your skin white. And you can blend this lightly. You can clean it up with some liner later. Okay, I think I'm ready to powder. Okay, I'm going to set the whites with my super white, but this time I'm going to use a brush. And then going in with my no color, also on the brush, set the rest of the face. So the pattern of vitiligo is also quite important. Okay, remember I told you vitiligo vulgaris sometimes is symmetrical. Okay, so it's exactly the same on both sides, so like something like that. Some people just get a patch of vitiligo somewhere, okay, and maybe just here or just here, and that's called what we call segmental vitiligo, or it can be focal vitiligo. So it's not reflected on the other side. And those are actually a bit harder to treat. Let's do some bronze tour. I'm going in with Morphe Glamour Bronze in Megastar. Maximum contrast with the whites. We'll go over the whites later with powders and creams again. Okay, I might have skipped ahead a little bit because the camera wasn't running. So I've already gone in and deepened up the eyes with a little bit of my BH Cosmetics Nouveau's Neutrals, okay? Just a very taupey shade for the eyes and a bit under there too. And now I'm just going into my Super Beauty, outlining all those white bits. Vitiligo, as you can see, is very, very crisp edges. And what causes vitiligo, I think, is still up for debate. There's definitely a genetic factor. People who are more susceptible to autoimmune conditions are more susceptible to vitiligo as well, so people with alopecia areata or psoriasis. Some people think maybe a viral infection kind of triggers off the autoimmune attack, but that's still kind of up for debate. But we know that the cytokines, or the chemicals that your body produces that causes vitiligo, are very similar to other autoimmune conditions as well, such as interferons, okay, and your chemokines such as CXCL10 and CXCL9, so the big words. And you can actually measure these in the skin of people with vitiligo. Just going to define this a little bit with a bit of shadow outline, just to give it some. Gives the illusion of a more crisp line. Okay, now using Sugar Pill Taco, go over the white a little bit. Okay, and Hungry also has some of the patterns in these whites as well, so I'll try to do that too. The transition shade I used earlier. Okay, let's bring some of that dark shade onto. So the treatment for vitiligo also depends on how severe it is. Most of the time we can get away with these creams, okay, so topical steroids and what we call calcineurin inhibitors, something like tacrolimus, okay, or Protopic can be used. Sometimes in combination as well. If it's very extensive, sometimes we need to give phototherapy, okay, that's light therapy. There's almost like a suntan booth where you use UV light to cure the vitiligo, and it seems UV light helps to replenish the melanocytes that have gone from the skin. Okay, sometimes even rapidly progressing vitiligo, you need to give oral steroids as well. I think we need to use a little bit of blush. Okay, I think I'm going to use this dusky mauve. Go in with some Inglot. And try to contour the nose a little bit. Let's use that dark shade again. Also some new treatments of vitiligo these days. JAK inhibitors used to treat for alopecia and some other autoimmune conditions can work in vitiligo as well. And some people even do skin grafting, okay, cellular grafting. So you can get melanocytes from other parts of the body, grind them up and put them onto the vitiligo skin. We hope it grafts. I'm going to go in with a liquid lip, nude liquid lip. Bring some Wonder Snatch into this so that it goes a little bit bigger. Grey lipstick from Sugar Pill, from Dress Code. Let's put it in the middle and see what happens. That's nice. Alright, I think I'm going to add some finishing touches. I think I need a lash and some lenses, and I'll be back with the finished look. And this is the finished look. Hungry meets Winnie Harlow with a bit of Wonder Snatch thrown in. I hope you learned something about vitiligo today, okay? And if you do have white patches in your skin, get thee to a dermatologist to see what it is and see whether it's vitiligo and whether it needs to be treated. Okay, so if you like this video, please share it with your friends. My dermatology in drag series seems to be getting the least views. I really like making these videos and I really like educating. Maybe leave in the comments how you think I can improve these videos. Is it too detailed? Is it too much science? If it is, I'll roll it back. And anyway, yeah, so please share it with your friends and don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and ring that post notifications bell, okay? Alright, I'll see you next time. Bye! Watch my other videos on acne and freckles. Bye.